Hey everybody, welcome to the first virtual lesson that we will be doing. So everybody has the link to the Google Slides, but I'm just going to go over that with you today. Alright, so here you can see what we will be working with. So as I pull that up, you have Judicial Branch Virtual Lesson 1. Some important things to know is that vocabulary words are going to be in this magenta color. Clickable links will be in this aqua color here, and any assignments will be in red. I'll also have a separate spot for your assignments, so you probably won't even see these in the Google Slides presentation, but just in case. Anyways, so first we're going to talk about the federal court system. And in the federal court system, there are 94 district courts across the United States. And the job of the district court is to resolve disputes, to determine who is right. In trial courts, the district judge hears the case and the jury determines the outcome. The next level of courts is the Court of Appeals. There are 13 appellate courts or Court of Appeals that sit below the Supreme Court, and their role is to determine if the law was applied correctly in the trial court. The Court of Appeal is made up of 3 judges and do not have a jury. Okay. And you'll see a nice little chart that we have here, or map I guess, that we have here, and it divides the country into Court of Appeals. So each one of these different colors with the number to it would be an area that covers the Court of Appeals. And remember, there are 13 of them. And then you can see where these where the states are, and then where the lines are. That is going to be where your district courts are. So in a state like California, where you have lots of people, there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 different district courts. Okay, so Maryland will just have 1 district court, and that's U.S. District Court. Okay. So let's keep going. And finally, the highest court in the United States is the Supreme Court. The decisions of the Supreme Court may not be reviewed by other courts, so they're the highest court in the land. And then one of the most famous rulings that they had was Brown versus Board of Education. In this ruling, the Supreme Court ruled that separate but equal was not possible. And that's that. Okay, so the Supreme Court is made up of 9 justices, and here they all are in this nice little picture right here. They serve for life, and they are appointed by the president, but this appointment has to be approved by the Senate. Okay, so if you want to look at this link here, you're going to go right to the Supreme Court website. And it's a nifty little website. If it'll come up here, supremecourt.gov is the address here, and you can see any of the oral arguments that are going to happen, any of the cases that you would want to look up. And you can look up the justices and history. There's really a lot to this website if you are ever interested. And here are some of the recent decisions that they have had. So a lot to this website, and this is available to you for your searching and viewing pleasure. If you want to, you can use this to help you with your assignments that we're going to do and to help further your discussions that we are going to have during this week. All right. So that's that. And we will continue on. And so that was the U.S. court system, right? And we also have a Maryland court system. As you know, this is local, state, national government. So this is the state level of it. There are district courts, and they deal with less serious offenses such as motor vehicle violations, misdemeanors, and civil cases. All right, so misdemeanors are smaller laws that are broken. They're not federal laws, but more, they're smaller, they have a less punishment to them if you break them. And then there's something called civil cases, and this is a disagreement between two people or even company and a person or two companies. And it's not a criminal charge. So this is just, civil cases are more disagreements than criminal charges. After district courts, you have circuit courts. They deal with more serious criminal cases, larger civil cases, and cases appealed from the district court. All right, so an appeal is if there's something wrong that happened during the trial, you can appeal and move it up to a higher court, and the circuit court would deal with that as well as more serious criminal charges. And finally, you have the appellate court, right? And there are two appellate courts in Maryland, and their job is to review the trial court's actions and decisions and determine if the judge followed the law and legal precedent. And that's only if somebody wants to appeal the decision that happened in the lower courts, right? And I have a handy dandy website for you that goes into a lot more detail about the Maryland court system, if you would like to look. And the address is marylandmdcourts.gov/courts/about. And you are going to learn all about that. And there's this video that really breaks it down for you. I think it's like a 9-minute video if you want to watch that. And here is more of a breakdown of the court systems within Maryland. Right? Oh, going back, and next we have a court case, Marbury versus Madison. So I would like to go ahead and click this, and this is a cartoon I created for your viewing pleasure, but also for you to work with these assignments that we are going to be doing. So this is a Supreme Court case, Marbury versus Madison. So what did well, let's just view it this way. So here's what happened in Marbury versus Madison. So John Adams was the second president of the United States, and he appointed William Marbury Justice of the Peace, right? And as the third president, Thomas Jefferson, came in right after John Adams appointed. John Adams did something called midnight appointments and appointed a bunch of people before he left office. So Thomas Jefferson, as the new president, didn't want Adams' people in power. So he said to James Madison, he said, hang on to these appointments so that they don't get them, and he can appoint his own people in due time. So he said, yes, sir, Mr. Jefferson. And here we have William Marbury saying, "I've been waiting so long for my appointment papers. I do not think they're coming." So he goes to the Supreme Court and goes to Judge Marshall and says, Thomas Jefferson was supposed to appoint me as justice as the peace, but he is refusing to do so. And Judge Marshall says, "Okay, I will hear this. I will hear this case." And he decides that it is wrong for Madison to refuse to appoint Marbury. He cannot do anything about it. So Marbury doesn't get his appointment. But what this court case does establish is something called judicial review. And judicial review is very important because it gives the Supreme Court the power to declare any law passed by Congress unconstitutional. And nobody has to, appeal the law, really. Just the Supreme Court can look at any law that the legislative branch passes. So this is a very important thing that happens, and it happens rather early in American history. So it gives judicial review, which is very important to know. All right, so this is what I've created, and that is that. I think that is it. There's also a History Channel version that I did not create that you can look at if you do not want to hear my voice about it and do not want to look at my little cartoon. That is up to you, but I prefer this one because I did it. Anyways, that's all I have for you, and I hope you all are doing well, staying safe, staying happy, staying healthy, and I hope you enjoyed. All right, bye-bye.